morning, and welcome to this week's edition of Marquette in Motion. We're your hosts, Miranda Peters
and Hallie Kilberg.
On today's show, we'll be informing you on some exciting lessons happening in Marquette classrooms,
giving you all the results of the middle school science fair,
giving you all the details on State Representative Andy McKean's recent visit to Marquette,
once again answering the submitted questions, and you ask, we answer.
As always, giving you all the Marquette sports and updates.
And today, we'll be interviewing Marquette senior Claire Davis.
Around the classroom, Marquette teachers continue to create exciting lessons and activities to make students actively engaged in their learning.
Books are being put down and creativity is being picked up.
So, what are students doing?
Well, the Civil War class is making propaganda posters that show different states' biased opinions on slavery.
Junior high students learned about engineering by taking a field trip down to Rockwell Collins to see how engineering is used in the real world.
The geometry class recently completed a project where students planned a trip in a state, then used proportions and scales on an atlas of that state to measure their route.
The U.S. history class is developing commercials for products, such as cameras that were introduced around the Civil War era.
The environmental science class is working on a project where students had the option of either making a timeline of an endangered species or making a poster on an invasive species.
The timeline included important dates in the animal's life, such as when it became endangered,
while the poster personified the invasive species as criminals who were wanted for crime.
Students then included details such as where the species was last seen, the crimes they committed, and their hideouts in the wanted poster.
So it's pretty clear to see how much students are having fun while learning.
The junior high students have been having some fun of their own, from inventing their very own product, conducting a scientific test, or to making a Rube Goldberg machine. They've had some fun and probably stressful times preparing for the recent science fair.
Here to tell us more about that is Catherine Heimbuck.
This last Wednesday, the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students competed in the annual Marquette Science Fair, some in groups but mostly individually. Each grade had a different focus for the fair. The 6th grade students were to think of and create an invention or innovation. 7th grade students were to conduct an experiment and share the results. 8th grade students worked in teams to produce a Rube Goldberg machine. I interviewed some of the junior high students about their projects. A 6th grader named Ethan DeStotle made a potty training toilet handle, which is an extended handle allowing kids who are potty training to more easily flush the toilet. Sounds like a good idea, right, parents? Ryder Patzner, another 6th grade student, named his invention the Drip and Sip, and it consisted of an umbrella with 2 cup holders attached to it, which could make a rainy day so much more fun. Kaylee Coos, a 7th grader at Marquette, experimented on how soil affected plants. She thinks that the science fair is a time to expand your imagination and scientific abilities. Since we are moving up through the grades, I talked to Ellie O'Brien, an 8th grader at Marquette, and in the winning group of this year's 8th grade Rube Goldberg machines. One of the questions I asked her was, as an 8th grader, how has the science fair helped you grow in interests, abilities, and possible career or class choices going into high school? She shared that it helped her to gain skills in teamwork, hands-on activities, responsibility, trust, improvising, and changing ideas that didn't work. We would like to thank Maury Anderson, Kevin McClyman, Michelle Turner, Katie Bopes, and Katie Peterson for judging this year's science fair projects. That leads us to the winners of this year's science fair. First place in 6th grade is Gavin O'Brien with his invention, the EZ Bucket Roller 9000. For 7th grade, Holly Beecham with her experiment testing which liquids decay apples faster. And for 8th grade, Ellie O'Brien, Asa Berthel, Carson Mickles, and Holly Kramer with their Rube Goldberg machine allowing the user to turn on a light. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Catherine Heimbuck. Stay tuned. More Marquette in Motion on the way.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now is Justina Dedlinger to give you all the details on Andy McKean's visit to Marquette.
Andy McKean, an Iowa House Republican, visited the Marquette campus on Friday, March 3rd. During his 2-hour visit, he read aloud to kindergartners, visited with Katie Tritz, who recently won the state competition for her American flag essay, provided a lesson in economics to high school students in Mr. Hollinsby's class, and stopped in at various classrooms. Ellie Sieverding, Marquette Student Council President, along with the principal, Mr. Kaiser, guided Mr. McKean around the campus. Claire Davis documented the afternoon for the yearbook. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Justina Denlinger.
Thanks, Justina. Up next are Sam Peters and Jonathan Herrig to answer more advice-related questions, and you ask, we answer. Are you ready, guys?
We're always ready, Miranda.
All right, the first question reads, in a class of mine, I heard the words I look forward to least. Group project. Do you think group projects should be assigned?
Yes, I do, because working with other people in a group setting to get a common goal accomplished is a very useful skill that you can take throughout your life with whatever career path you take, and it's just a very useful skill that I think everybody should learn to have.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. Our next question.
With third quarter conferences behind us, students are probably wondering if grades are even necessary. If learning and quality of work is the focus, do you think schools really even need a grading system?
I think they do, because that shows not only students but parents how the students are progressing, and if done properly, grades can be a great benchmark for what is being learned and what knowledge is being gained.
Okay, and the last question. Can you define senioritis and tell us if it truly exists?
Senioritis is something that seniors usually go through when it's getting close to graduation time, when they come to the mindset of these final grades that are coming in do not necessarily matter because they've already made commitments to colleges and sent in their transcripts and all that, so then colleges don't see these grades that you are doing right now. But I think that students, especially seniors, should try to avoid this at all costs, because that will lead to very bad habits that you could take with you to college, and that would not be beneficial on your part.
Thanks for all the great advice, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the last segment of Marquette in Motion after these messages. Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now are Sam Peters and Jonathan Herrig, this time with all the Marquette sports and updates.
Thanks, Miranda. Today, Marquette has 5 of its students participating at the annual individual state speech competition held in Vinton, Shellsburg. The students that are going include Kelsey Gerlach in prose, Allison Hager in poetry, Luke Keys in musical theater, Ashley Coos in prose, and Amanda Coos in storytelling. Good luck to all of our state speech participants.
Marquette's spring sports are getting ready to start their seasons. The first track meet that Marquette's girls and boys will participate in will be on March 17th at Mount Vernon. This will also be the first meet that the girls will be representing Marquette, as they have had to participate in past years on Bellevue's team. Golf and soccer do not start playing until 2 weeks later, with the first golf meet on March 27th at East Buchanan, and the first soccer game at home on March 30th against Solon.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been Sam Peters.
And Jonathan Herrig
With your Marquette Sports and Updates Report.
Thanks, guys. Up next is Brooklyn Moore interviewing Marquette senior Claire Davis.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brooklyn Moore, and today I'll be interviewing Claire Davis, who's a senior at Marquette. Would you mind starting off by telling our audience a little bit about yourself?
Hello, I'm Claire Davis, as she said. My parents are Tom and Kathy Davis. I live right in town in Bellevue, and I have 2 dogs.
Okay. What extracurriculars do you participate in?
I play soccer and run cross country. I also teach religious ed.
Which is your favorite activity and why?
I really like soccer just because it's really competitive and the team is just really great.
Besides extracurriculars, do you do anything else? A job, maybe?
Yeah, I work at St. Joe's Daycare, and I also work out at the car wash.
Okay. Where do you want to go to college?
I plan on attending UNI for social work.
What made you want to go to UNI?
I like that it was a big school, but not too big, and the social work program is just really great there.
Why do you want to major in social work?
Because I wanted to help people and just kind of improve their way of life, and I wanted to work with kids mostly, so.
That is a good answer. What are you looking forward to most about college?
Just having more, responsibilities and getting to kind of do my own thing, but also have a family to go back to still.
Same. We're going to switch gears from serious to fun questions now. What's your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment would have to be Probably graduating high school in a couple of months.
What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is probably Tangled.
If it doesn't frustrate you too much, what is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve is when people chew with their mouths open. It bothers me so much.
We have one final question for you, Claire. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Compassionate.
That's a good one. Well, that concludes our interview. Thanks for letting me interview you, Claire, and thanks to all of our listeners. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Brooklyn Moore with Tell Us More.
Thanks for reporting, everyone.
And thank you for tuning in.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been Miranda Peters.
And Hallie Kilberg.
And remember, stay informed, stay involved, stay
in motion.